Hello there, very good evening from the Standard Group Center here in Nairobi. Many thanks for joining us on the broadcast this Monday night. I am Ben Kitili and you're just in time for Choice 2017, where we dissect the big political stories in the run-up to the August 2017 general election. It is exactly 119 days to this year's election. We're just counting hours to the all-important nomination exercise by different political parties. ODM party will be the first on the ground, but tonight we are focusing on the northeastern part of Kenya and specifically emanating political streamlines emanating from the county of Mandera, the battle for Mandera, but more specifically talking about the newly formed Economic Freedom Party, EFP. There has been the talk of the all-powerful Gare Council of Elders and how much influence they have on the electioneering period, especially in that part of the country. And of course, the Jubilee Party, which did amass a lot of votes in the last general election. Of course, then as the United Republican Party, URP, now defunct. We are talking about that, but we are putting focus on this EFP party. We are talking to some of its key players. They are in studio here with me tonight. I have with me Hassan Nur Hassan, a former provincial commissioner, not very new to you. I will be vying for the Mandera gubernatorial seat on an EFP ticket. We're also talking to Abdullahi Gessi, Secretary General of the EFP, as well as the Chief Executive Officer of the party, Sunday Oyolo. They are already here with me. I have very tough questions for them. They are very popular on the ground. They are supported by the Council of Elders. But what is their take on what's happening there, of course, and how confident do they feel after launching this EFP party? That is what we are talking about on Choice 2017 tonight. And we are seeking your views on social media on our Twitter poll question. We are asking you, does the Economic Freedom Party offer real solutions for northeastern Kenya? Tell us what you think. Tweet us at Ben_Kitili, at KTN News, and the hashtag is Choice 2017. Let's start with taking a look at what has been happening, of course, since the launch of that particular party, the EFP party. Here's KTN News political reporter Jeff Kirui taking a look at the EFP party and what they stand for.
The launch of the new party comes barely 5 months to the elections. Among the leaders aligned to the party are former Rift Valley Provincial Commissioner Hassan Nur, who is also eyeing the position of governor. According to the leaders, the formation of EFP is to ensure that candidates nominated by Council of Elders through the so-called negotiated democracy get the tickets to vie for various positions.
EFP itatuongoza, itatutoa katika hali ya umaskini ambayo tulio nao kwa wakati huu. Kwa hivyo tuwe tayari sote kama wakaji wa Mandera, tujiokoe na tujisaidie.
At the event characterized by the politics of clanism, the leaders urged locals who form the main sub-tribes in Mandera to support the new party. The leaders emphasized that during the 2013 presidential election, Mandera County gave 98% of votes to the government, and they can still marshal the same numbers to eject rebels who have defied the elders' wishes.
Mara mingi sana tumetafuta Jubilee, lakini leo tuko na chama yetu, sio? Chama ya Wakenya wote, sio? Sasa tunataka kuonyesha, wenye wametuonyesha wamechukua Jubilee, kura ni ya kutoka wananchi, sio?
The launch of the new party comes at a time when the Council of Elders in Mandera County felt duped by Jubilee Party. The Economic Freedom Party will fill all the seats in Mandera County as it plans to market itself in the larger northeastern region.
Wakati nilisema party haita.
Jaffa Isaac of the Diligent Development Alliance has denied claims that his party is among those that have joined Jubilee Party ahead of the August 8th elections. Speaking to journalists today, he said he will not support Jubilee or NASA, claiming both of them are tribal-based.
We cannot join the current politician because the ideas of today that we have today has failed this nation since 1960 to date. The way we do our politics has failed this nation to date. We want to rewrite narratives. We want to come up with a different idea. And our idea will take time. Don't expect the DDA to form the government 2022 or 2017 or 2027. This is a struggle that will go on with it. It will take a lot of time. You have to be patient with us.
The Diligent Development Alliance was registered in 2015 and has so far attracted 28,000 members.
As Jeff Kirui has mentioned there, in 2013 general election, the URP party, now defunct, of course, part of the Jubilee party, did get almost all the elective seats in the county of Mandera. They are still hopeful that they can go against the Council of Elders. The Jubilee party, of course, have been trying to traverse the county to look for votes. The governor, Ali Roba, has also been talking up their chances. Let's listen.
Kafyo ililetwa kwa madhumuni fulani, lakini haiwezi kuendelea milele, haiwezi kuendelea for good. Hatukubali endelee for good. Tumeanza kushauriana na serikali, idara ambayo inahusika, na inshallah hiyo hali itabadilika.
Watu wa Mandera mnasema kafyu mnataka ama hamutaki? Hamutaki? Wanahabari wanasikiza. Watu wa Mandera wanasema nini? Kafyu hamutaki? Sasa mimi wajibu wangu ni kuhakikisha nitafikisha hiyo ujumbe kwa waziri Kaiseri pamoja na His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta na William Ruto.
Right, we are speaking about the Economic Freedom Party emanating or hailing from the county of Mandera. I have with me very key stakeholders of that party to try and put matters into perspective concerning the battle for Mandera and what the EFP party stands for. Remember, as we've told you, you can join this conversation online on Twitter. We're asking you, does the Economic Freedom Party, EFP, provide real solutions for the people of northeastern Kenya? Tell us what you think. Tweet us at Ben_Kitili, at KTN Kenya. Those are the handles. The hashtag is Choice2017. And now joining us in studio are Abdullahi Gessi, the Secretary General of the Economic Freedom Party, and I also have with me the Chief Executive Officer of the party, Sunday Oyolo, and also Hassan Nur Hassan, Mandera gubernatorial aspirant on an EFP ticket. We're just counting months, weeks, 119 days to be specific, to the August general election. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me on the studio tonight to talk about the EFP, which has been now officially launched. Mheshimiwa, if I can start with you, why did you form the Economic Freedom Party?
EFP, the Economic Freedom Party, addresses two values, social justice and economic freedom, for the marginalized areas and other parts of Kenya that have not been able to benefit from many years of underdevelopment. And therefore, the aspirations of the people in these regions feel that they need to be part and parcel of the other aspects of the government, and therefore we need to address the key issues of social justice and economic freedom, and that's why we think the party is going to address the less marginalized, the more marginalized areas, the less unfortunate members of our society, the more they are, because we nearly have 70–80% of our Kenyan population is still in the poverty line.
Right.
And therefore, the party is going to address many of those social ills.
All right. So, Oyolo, many people view the EFP as a Mandera affair only. Is it the plan of the party to, go out to other areas, other marginalized areas, or other areas of northern Kenya, to be specific? Or is it a Mandera affair?
What many people don't know is that EFP is a rebranded party. It was previously National Labour Party that had Honorable Kiliku and Anea Maboza. It has brought greats in Parliament. So it has just been rebranded. And the exodus or the attraction of the Mandera people into EFP is specifically for what Bwana Governor is talking about. The issues that the party addresses has attracted actually the Mandera and Greater Northern region. We have now candidates in Wajir, in Isiolo, in Marsabit, who have come in by throngs. Why? Because of social justice and economic freedom. And there's also the third aspect, the fact that we stand for proportional representation, which now is manifested through the agreements of communities and elders to reduce on the cost of running elections, to reduce on frictions and conflicts that come about in elections. And this is what we are talking about even for the rest of Kenya. Can we have an arrangement whereby communities sit down and agree on the leadership that they want to have? And those are the three major aspects that attracted Mandela, the whole tomorrow's government of Mandela.
Mr.
Is now in
your final point, many people would say that is against democracy.
That is democracy. It's actually negotiated democracy. It's democracy, is pre-arranged, negotiated, pre-organized. It is happening in South Africa, where parties actually meet and agree on party list. It's actually a way of coming up with the party list. It's in Iraq. It's in many other countries across the world.
All right. Mr. Secretary General, what is, according to where you sit, what's the main thing that the EFP has to offer?
Thank you, Ben, and thank you to all Kenyans who are watching us tonight. I think, first and foremost, I want to start with corrections. I remember you said the powerful Garri Council of Elders.
Right.
I think the party is much more than that, and it is the Council of Elders of Mandera.
Not the Garri.
Not the Garri.
Thanks for that correction. Thank you.
Secondly, this is not a county affair. It's a national party. I think we talk so much about marginalization in those areas, but if you look at the number of people living in slums in this country, surely is there any social justice? So this is a party that stands for all Kenyans that require social justice with economic freedom. And having said that, this party is for the betterment of Kenyans, and we believe the same can be got through one Kenya,
right,
through an efficient county and national government, and through fruition of the intended devolution in this country.
All right. I want us to talk about, before we get into the agenda, I want us to talk about the politics. There has been this debate about negotiated democracy and what it means, what I was just asking the chief executive right now. So the fact that you are supported by the Council of Elders, does that give you a big advantage on the ground?
It doesn't. I think I am there in my own capacity, and I think the Council of Elders is just a vehicle for the negotiated democracy process. But I think the democracy of this country, the winner takes it all, the big boys club, where the big tribes can do what they want, that is coming to an end. I have been a provincial commissioner in Rift Valley during the post-election violence. And we've seen the two largest tribes in this country fighting. And, the whole country was almost plunged into chaos. Our current two leaders came and sat down and said, no, we cannot run this country like this. And they sat down and agreed and said, let's save this country from anarchy. They sat down and said, we can be better leaders. Mm-hmm. Therefore, they sat, and that is a form of negotiated democracy. They said, let's join hands and be able to unite this country and take it to the next stage. Ours is a similar thing. The form of democracy that we have that is widely publicized in the world is a democracy where winner takes it all. The strong man is the one who takes it all. But in this situation, in our situation, it's expensive. It is violent-based. It is whoever is rough can be able to take the day. Ours is a negotiated democracy where communities sit down, agree among themselves. You'll be surprised. Some of the communities that have been given elective slots within that county are communities that ordinarily would never even bring an MCA. But they have been able to benefit, that they have been put on equal terms with the big and the small. Is
this negotiated democracy still agreeable to the people on the ground? Do they still support it?
Majority of them still support it. Of course, you cannot get 100% support, but majority support the negotiated process. Even the current leadership we have in the county of Mandera are products of this system. And therefore, it will be foolhardy for anybody to wake up one morning and say, I have moved out of the negotiated democracy system.
All right.
It's going to stay. And the creation of Economic Freedom Party, or the revival and the rejuvenation of Economic Freedom Party, is basically to bolster and to strengthen the negotiated democratic process and take it to the highest level.
Right.
And our appeal to all Kenyans is, don't fight over votes. Don't fight over a 5-year process of politics. Negotiate. Sit down and negotiate among yourselves. These seats are enough for everybody.
For everybody.
Yeah.
Mr. Gesi, what is your take on this negotiated democracy?
Well, Ben, he has rightly put it. The thing is, politics in this country has been commercialized. Politics in this country is the basis, I believe, for corruption in this country, nepotism in this country. Because why? It's all about game of numbers. If we can have other ways of having the right leadership, so be it. And that's what the basis of negotiated democracy. We lost 1,500 people just in the other election. We are seeing drums being beat now for something similar.
Do you think it's practical in the rest of the country?
It has worked for other parts of this world. You know geography and you know what happens in the rest of the world. Parties will put up the names of their aspirants, and people will go by that. And this source of where people sit down and be able to collect a lot of money just for the purposes of elections, and then in the next year amass others for the other election, that's what is resulting in all these problems in this country.
All right.
So I believe if this is perfected and it's understood,
Right.
then this will have been a solution to a lot of problems in this country.
All right, we're going to the nominations for the other parties and then, of course, the run-up to the election. Bwana CEO, Jubilee Party will pour massive resources on the ground to fight EFP. How are you going to counter this?
Again, that's what we are saying. You see what EFP is bringing to Kenya and what Mandera now, through this process, and Moyale and others. By the way, we must also inform you that we've just concluded our process of handing in the list of aspirants. Right. And we've lost 2 aspirants in Moyale because of the negotiated democracy, because they were not netted by their elders in the basket. And they came back to us and said, sorry, whereas I had paid the nomination, they have declined me for someone else. Right. And they're bidding their time. What we are saying is that we are bringing to Kenya 2 major aspects. A negotiated democracy, what we call party lists, which are all over the country. This is a new thing we want Kenyans to borrow. We also want to bring something to Kenyans, that whereas elections can be cheap, can be peaceful, can be orderly, can be predetermined, can be bolstering parties instead of individuals. Right. We can also have governments that are affordable, so that when Mandela emerges, becomes affordable government in such a sense that the governor and his team are not now paying the debts that they incurred to run an election. All right. But why is it going to be an uphill for Jubilee? This is a community decided. It is versus elsewhere where people are going in to throw in Bahati Nasifu. Right. You get it or you don't get it. These are community decided. You would have seen it in the numbers in Mandera. If you were yesterday on Saturday at KICC, numbers that were at KICC were telling.
All right. Mr. Nur Hassan, in your campaign for the gubernatorial seat, you have the support of the people, but your opponent is an incumbent. He's already on the seat. From where you sit, how hard do you think it's going to be to unseat an incumbent?
If it is hard to unseat an incumbent, then there would be no elections in this country. Incumbents have to give way to new teams, because Kenyans are yearning for change. And that is the change we are going to bring to this county. And therefore, it's not going to be hard for me. And I think the question of negotiated democracy is something that we will live with.
All right.
And something we will intend when we aspire as a party to take it to every corner of this country. So that's going to work. And I'm sure the politics of violence, what we see today is the drums of war being beaten all over this country. Mm-hmm. Parties are fighting among themselves. Intra-parties fighting, inter-parties fighting. This is all going to be a thing of the past. Once Kenyans realize that democratic, competitive politics is so expensive to this country, we lose nearly, what can I say? We lose nearly over an entire 1 year's budget of the national budget on elections in this country. And that is a great loss to this country, a country that is not being able to take care of its citizens, a country that over 60% of its population is still below poverty line, cannot afford this kind of waste of resources that we see. Look at the rallies in these countries. Look at the waste, the opulence of political parties. I mean, we cannot afford as a country this. And I think it's the highest time our leaders sat down and asked themselves, is it worth it? Is it worth, I mean, we collect our taxes. These are the taxes that are required to help the poor people. Mm-hmm. We are not doing it. We are wasting it.
But how are you going to reach out to your fellow leaders and Kenyans that we need to change this kind of politics into this that is more sustainable?
It is started already in the northern part of this country. Mm-hmm. The arid and semi-arid lands are going to adopt this method very soon. At least in this election, we have got quite a number. If you go to Garissa today, there's negotiated democracy. If you go to Wajir, they're already trying as much, and every clan has already done it. In Marsabit, they're already doing it. We are coming, Ben, we are coming to every corner of this country to make sure that this process works for all Kenyans.
All right.
Even by extension at EFP, on our list, we have candidates in Bungoma. We have them in Kisii. We have them in Kilifi and Lamu. And all of them we have rejected subjecting our candidates to nominations. We have gone to the ground, we've scouted for the best. So
all of them have been given direct nominations?
We have scouted for the best in consultation with the local elders there, and we have been given the best. So if we don't get that seat, we will be content. Because again, we have not subjected our aspirants to so much haggling and fighting and costly things.
Right.
Secondly, we also, like you asked, Bwana Governor, we are going to have members of parliament. And we intend as a party to actually bring into parliament 2 motions. One of them will be on party list, proportional representative. Ben, look here. We've just done delimitation in 2013 of boundaries. Mm-hmm. We are skipping this one. We are going to do delimitation in 2022.
Yes.
Imagine how now we have 290 constituencies. How many are they going to be? We now have 1,450 wards. How many will they be? And what size will your ward be? It will be a sublocation, a village? What size will be your constituency? It will be a ward? We are saying this zoning and people saying this is my turf, this is your turf. It
shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
All right.
The other thing, just Ben, before we forget about the question of Jubilee, throwing all manner of resources into the county, that doesn't worry us at all. In 2013, we brought in 98% of Jubilee votes.
Yes.
That time it was the TNA and URP alliance. I mean, the president didn't go to Mandera to campaign. He did. The deputy president didn't go to campaign. We sat down and said, yes, this is the route we are taking. We intend to do the same.
So
watch this space.
All right. Now that Jubilee is against this, you are saying that they will lose in Mandera. You're confident of that?
Yes.
Then,
yes, please.
Just to add to what the incoming governor said, I think we would not have been sitting here smiling if we didn't know what we're saying. Whatever amount of money you power, you cannot change the will of people that has come through their culture. The issue, or rather the decision of this negotiated democracy did not just come up overnight. It came as a result of consultations and consultations over a period of 1.5 years. So it is emanating from the roots, from the people themselves. So I believe whatever amount of resources you power there,
What would
you're
you
doomed to
say
fail.
to your opponents? Obviously, they have been trying to rattle you. They have been saying that you are just afraid of nominations with them. They're saying they are confident they would have beaten the leaders who are in EFP. What do you say to such comments?
Well, first and foremost, not that we were fearing primaries or nominations. What we said was that the elders have already done that role. So it negates the tenets of negotiated democracy to go back into another nomination. But just hold your horses. Elections are just around the corner. It just will be in August. And you will see what the results will be.
All right.
For we are competing with somebody who is asking his people who are under curfew for the last 6 months, do you still support curfew? You are here. The clip that you showed us was showing that. That tells you he's not in touch. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what is really bothering the people.
All right.
So that will not bother us.
All right.
Ben, I think in 2013...
Very quickly before we take a break. Yes.
Yes, in 2013, the list for the nomination process was concluded 1 year in advance, 1 year before. This time, we have also concluded our nominations 1 year before. August last year is when our nomination process was concluded. And last year, a year to the election, the list was provided. And the elders at that time had to present it to the alliance parties at that time.
Right.
And exactly that was about seven MPs, the governor, the deputy governor, and nearly 50 MCAs. 48 MCAs were listed for nomination. And after 1 year of election, all those listed were taken.
All right.
They won the elections. And therefore, we are going to have a repeat of the same.
You can deliver.
We will deliver.
I want to find out just how this negotiated democracy works. And also, if this was, it's done like a year to the election, why were Jubilee hesitant to work again with the elders like they did in 2013? And of course, that is what we want to seek after this quick commercial break. We also are asking you to indulge us on what you think about this issue. We're asking you, does the Economic Freedom Party offer real solutions for northeastern Kenya and, of course, the rest of the country? They are saying they are rolling out to the rest of the country. Tell us what you think. Tweet us at Ben_Kitili at KTN News. The hashtag is Choice2017. When we return, we put more perspective into this issue of the EFP and the politics of Mandera and the northeastern part of this country.